All right. Come on, y'all. Get in here. Get in here. 14, 13 seconds on the board. Waiting on Jennifer Jajeh to come in, but she still got some time. All right, you guys. Hello. Welcome to JOA. Y'all know the deal. I really appreciate it if you do subscribe and you click that bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. That really means a lot to me. Y'all know how hard I work on this channel. Also, I'd also appreciate it if you support me on patreon.com/JOA, Twitter, Instagram, everything else below. Please do support me there. Please, 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 and please. So today we got a special guest on the show. She's a comedian and she's an actress. Her name is Jennifer Jajeh. And so we're going to have her on, but I'm waiting on her to come into the queue. I know a lot of you guys wanted to know information about Palestine, aka Palestine. Jennifer Jajeh actually spent over a year there. And so she has stories to tell as well, you know, while she was on the forthcoming of her career as a comedian and as an actress. She's also going to talk about being quote unquote kind of like blackballed, blacklisted professionally and personally in the industry, because, you know, she takes the route of talking about comedic history, you know, her history as a Palestine, sort of like Amanda Seales, comedian Amanda Seales, that talks about African American things of that nature. I'm waiting on her to come in at the moment, but okay, she's in the queue. But before we get started, what I want to do is I kind of want to play some clips on her work so y'all can kind of get familiar with what she do, because she does have an upcoming show coming up on the 16th of June. And I did link that as a pinned comment on the chat room. Also, I also put it in the description box. It is in Burbank, California. And so I know I got a lot of my followers are in California. You know, it's look, a lot of y'all always ask me about information about Palestine, about the history. You know, she's not an expert, but, you know, it's better when you actually live in the situation versus reading it and seeing it on the news. So without further ado, you know, before we get Jennifer Jajeh in here, I am going to play stuff about her work.
Ask a Palestinian. So, what am I? That seems to be the question on everybody's mind. Do I know Osama bin Laden? Was I on the flotilla? Do I drink Osama bin Laden? How many guys named Muhammad do I know? What kind of name is Jajeh? Middle Eastern? What do you mean? What kind?
My name is Jennifer Jajeh. I'm a Palestinian writer and performer. I've been performing this show for 5 years around the US. I brought it to the UK, to Edinburgh, to Beirut, now to London.
Palestinian women really wear bikinis? That's your question? No, there's not going to be any belly dancing in the show tonight, dude. No. We did not convert. There are Christians in Palestine. Jesus, the founder of the Christian faith. Yes, well, he was born in Palestine, as was my mom. Do I eat bacon?
All right, so before I get you on, Jennifer, I do want to play one more clip. You know, girl, I'm trying to sell you. So they could, you know, because the pandemic has been hard. She laughing. I'm trying to sell you, and, you know, I support local businesses. I support people's businesses. So I want to play one more clip before we have her.
I'm Jennifer Jajeh, and I am Palestinian. You know, growing up Palestinian, I always wanted to be famous because I wanted my name in the headlines, because I imagined it would go something like this. Jennifer Jajeh blowing up the chart. Jajeh explodes expectations with her new album. Jajeh's new show bombs in London. So, you know, it was tough growing up Palestinian. You know, school lunches were especially difficult. Other kids would bust out PBJ sandwiches. I would open that brown paper sack to find a lamb shank. Other kids on the weekends got to go to Chuck E. Cheese. I had to go to yet another teenage cousin's wedding. Yes. sleepovers. I got full body waxes in middle school. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's interesting how white Christians think they own Christianity. And when I tell them I'm a Palestinian Christian, they're like, what? Did you convert? And I'm like, I am from Palestine.
All right, y'all. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Palestinian American comedian, writer, Jennifer Jajeh. What's up, my friend?
Hey, how are you?
Oprah, you went full on Oprah with me in the messages, talking about I'm busy. I'm like, well, goddamn.
Oh, I see. Sorry, was I not supposed to be busy?
Understand, you got a show coming up. I always tell people this, I'm gonna be the next Palestinian Oprah. I tell people that all the time.
Oh, yay. Okay, cool. Well, remember us when you get big, baby.
Dog, I'm trying. But the thing is, like, I watched so many of your interviews last night, and you did you brought about morality. And you brought about conformity. Morality being, okay, you're not going to hide who you are. Conformity meaning that you're going to succumb to the industry so you can make the dollars. Yeah,
I mean, listen, nobody's trying to give you a big, fat, fancy show when you're like run around talking about Palestine. It's just not at this point and up to this point in the industry. You know, it's a taboo subject, and I feel like people are really careful to make sure that they keep their paychecks flowing. But it's not really, for me, my art is a lot about identity. It's a lot about being Palestinian. And so I'm kind of SOL in terms of.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's too late.
I know, like, I'm trying to make this interview different. Look, just lay back. I'm not a polished person. You know, I just want you to feel comfortable. But I know you probably answered so many of these questions in interviews. I watched you on TYT last night, the whole 50-minute interview.
Oh,
I think it was like 48 minutes. No, I loved it. I watched you on Ahmed Darwat, you know, both clips. And so I know, like I said, there's a lot of commonality questions you've been asked. But, you know, I kind of want people to know who you are because you have a college degree, you double majored. Talk about that.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, smart woman. You have like 3 degrees. You have a degree in philosophy and
history, and
then
studied acting. Yeah, no, not 3, 2. But then I also
I count the acting as 3. Come on, it's education. Right. Don't worry about the damn paper. Come on now.
Right.
So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think what people don't know is like Palestinians are actually like one of the most educated populations in the world. Like Palestinians revere education, higher education. It's really important. It's something that like people, it's really important to keep your like skills up, your knowledge. It's something in our community that's really focused on. And so I think people just think, oh, you're a comedian. What is it? Mm-hmm. What do you know? What do you know about anything? Yeah. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, there's that.
So I want to know, because you are first generation American, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like me. So I want to know what your parents thought when you said, hey, mom, dad, I want to be an actress. What they said.
Oh, yeah. They were like, no, that's not happening. You're not doing that.
They told, no, like, be honest, be real. Like what they told you.
They were like, you're not, dude, that's not, they're like, just science, come on, like, stop being crazy. And I was like, I don't want to be a scientist.
What they said, they spoke Arabic to you? That's what they said something in Arabic, right?
I mean, my parents came here when they were super young. They came here when they were like early teens. So we spoke a lot of English at home, and they would actually speak, my Arabic is really bad. And so
Mine is too. Don't worry about it.
They would do like the basics to us, like go pick up something or go do that in Arabic. But then when they wanted to talk and not let us know what was going on, they would just like rapid fire speak to each other in Arabic. And we were like, what are you guys saying?
So you don't have interpretations. You just you don't have interpretations, and then you can't speak it. Fluently. Like in other words, if they say something to you in Arabic, like if they're having a conversation about you, you wouldn't be able to understand.
Oh, I mean, I understand enough, but like if you get going and you're super fast, then you're gonna lose me.
Yeah, because for me, like I'm first generation as well, and it's like whenever they would say something in Arabic, I respond in English. So my interpretation is very high in terms of So, you know, it's different.
Oh, you can interpret. You can understand. You just
for the most part. I mean, you know, I try to get better. You know, I watch the little soap operas with them during Ramadan or you know, whenever I can. And I'm not gonna lie to you, girl. Like a lot of them, they addicting. I'm not sure if you're familiar with any of the popular. You know, it's Turkish, but it's translated into the Arabic language, and so that kind of like helps me and stuff like that. But so
man,
you
I
are
gotta
a Christian.
get on. I am.
Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta get on these Turkish soap operas then.
Man, look, I'm gonna start you with one. Start with Aussie, ASI, Aussie. They're all on YouTube. You can watch it for free. You don't gotta pay for nothing, whatever.
And it's all
beautiful. She looked like you, like a very like good looking. She's from Turkey. So her name is Tuba Bayukistan. That's her real name, but you know the actress is her name is Aussie. That basically means river in Arabic, whatever. It's like it's probably 158 episodes. It's all on YouTube. Yeah, but I mean, like, you're going to get addicted to it, I'm telling you. ASI. Don't look it up now. It's kind of like ASI. It's ASI in Spanish because, you know, ASI is ASI in Spanish, but, you know, in Arabic it's Aussie. So,
is it dubbed in Arabic, like the voices in Arabic, or it's just subtitles?
No, it's in Arabic.
Okay,
it's in Arabic. Like they speak in Arabic, but the thing is, with the I guess mainstream like Turkish translating into Arabic type of episodes, what they do is they use a voiceover and one freaking soap opera, and they apply it to different characters in different other soap operas. And I'm like, why the hell do they do that? And so in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, maybe it's considered like a sin or something to be an actress as a woman, because a lot of these are Turkish. Yeah, because I'm not really sure. Because there's one episode. I've always wanted to know that, but I'm like, well, maybe not, because there's one, from my knowledge, it's an actual Middle Eastern, I guess I can call it soap opera. It's called Bab el-Hara, but they didn't have pictures. This is like before color television, you know. But yeah, I've always wanted to know, like, why is it like that? I'm not really sure, but watch it. It's called Aussie. It's very interesting. So they pretty much wasn't having you being an actress or a comedian. They were like, nah, you got to go to the school. That's what they told you.
Yeah, I mean, they were like, listen, we'll help you with college if you don't study acting. But if you study acting, you're on your own. And I was like, well, I kind of want to hang out and go to college and not, you know. Like, we'll let them pay for it. So yeah, I mean, it was a good experience, and actually it's good to have, like, I think that helped a lot with my writing and my critical thinking and just everything, my knowledge of the world. It's like, I'm glad I did that instead of just going straight to acting school. But yeah, they weren't having it until like I started gaining some, like, as soon as I was in the newspaper, my mom was like, my daughter, she's an actress. And then she'd like take out a newspaper clipping out of her purse. And I was like, okay, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. They want to wait until you get to the letter Z, not to letter A. You know, we don't see nothing. We're going to wait until you actually climb and stuff too. Yeah, you know. So like you take a different route when you do your comedy. A lot of people, they talk about relationships, which you do, you touch on that, but you go into like Palestinian, like your life as a Palestinian. And it's interesting because you are a Palestinian American. So, you know, you're not like as situated or like maybe as knowledgeable as somebody that's living there all their life. So my question to you is like, what made you decide to put that in your comedy when like throughout your whole life you stayed in, you know, California, United States of America?
Right. Well, I was born and raised in California, and until after acting school, I went to Palestine to live there for a couple years, and that was right at coincidentally, I didn't personally start the Intifada, but when I got there, the Intifada started. So I like to be like.
What year was this? Early 2000s?
2000, yeah.
Yeah.
2000. So I went to live there for a few years, and
wait, before you can you explain to people what an Intifada is, if you can?
Oh, wow. We're breaking it down like that.
No, just give me a simple definition. We're not breaking it down.
It's a popular uprising. It's Palestinians on the ground who are like protesting certain conditions and a certain level of protest that emerges in response to, the occupation and complete like fascist.
A lot of people don't know what Palestine is. That's why I told you. Can you please explain what it is?
Who are your followers? Who are these people?
A lot of millennials. I mean, I have older followers as well, but I'm just saying in like real life too, a lot of millennials, they don't even know what Palestine is. That's why I told you.
Can they ask questions? Is there like
they can, but I mean it's like they're just saying they're talking to each other. I can see it, but I haven't got if y'all want questions for her, comment below the questions and then we can just I could let you know what the questions are. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
So that we can see if just in case they don't know or they don't have the knowledge. Anyway, I moved back to Palestine in like 2000, 2001. And that's when I saw really what was happening on the ground, which is, checkpoints and occupation and soldiers like breaking into people's house in the middle of the night and arresting people arbitrarily and holding them without trial and holding them without charges and the utter destruction of everyday life of Palestinians. And so after living in that situation for 2 years and coming back to the US, I realized that the thing that I became most passionate about was talking about what I saw, because it was so I grew up Palestinian. I grew up hearing stories from my parents, but it like what they told me and what I saw on the news were like competing narratives. So I was like, wait a second. I'm being told all this stuff from my parents about what's happening on the ground. Then I'm seeing stuff in the media. Then the way that Americans are talking about it, the way the government talks about it, the way popular culture talks about it. It's like we're we're the aggressors. Like we're, committing all the violence. Like we're disrupting this, peaceful state of Israel. So I grew up with this media that contradicted everything that I was being told. And so I needed to see for myself what was happening on the ground. And once I saw it, not only was it worse than my parents could ever tell me it was, but living day to day under a military occupation, being shot at, being tear gassed, seeing them shoot at other kids, having my neighbor's house bombed in the middle of the day and like his whole entire family murdered. After witnessing all of this, I came back and I was like, holy shit, not only is what's happening, what the news is telling everybody, totally incorrect, but what is happening on the ground is so insane and so horrifying and so just, like it's war crime. It's genocide. It's a slow incremental killing of people and a culture. And so it was, I came back and I was like, I need to talk about this in my work. And so some of the clips you showed were stand up somewhere, a one woman show I did.
You have a lot of stuff on YouTube.
Yeah. So
you're famous, girl.
Oh, tell that to my bank account.
Go ahead. Keep going. My bad. Go ahead.
Tell that to my bank account. It does not recognize.
So what part of Palestine was this in?
In Ramallah, in the West Bank.
Ramallah.
And the craziest thing is I was living in the most like liberal town, full of foreigners, full of international workers, full of nightclubs and bars and restaurants and cafes and, a university. And so
let them know. Tell them they got clubs over there. Tell them the girls be dressing. It don't matter where you from. I'm just saying, like, I find it to be like there's a stereotype that over there they don't do nothing. There's no clubs or nothing. No. And then even the parents that want to bring their kids over here to study, they're like, no, we don't want you to be westernized. When they have clubs, you gotta realize that you put trust and morals into your kid. No matter where they're gonna go, you can trust them. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's everywhere.
There's clubs there. The clubs there are crazy. The clubs there are crazy, and it's like
probably more crazier than here.
Crazier because people there are like, look, I don't know if our street, our school, our town is going to be shut down, bombed. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Right. I had a boyfriend and he lived on the other side of the checkpoint. And I was like, it was like Romeo and Juliet. I was like, where are you? Why you're not supposed to be coming to my house? And he's like, I'm stuck at the checkpoint. Like, he couldn't get through. The soldiers were like, no, you're not going through. And if you don't turn back and go home, we'll shoot you. And so he couldn't, like, I'd get mad. It's like, imagine having a relationship like this, like, your partner, your girlfriend, whatever, your boyfriend. Now, if you don't show up to a date, they're like, where the fuck are you, man? What are you doing?
Right.
And it's like, I had to adjust my expectations because I was like, where are you, dude? Like, you suck. And he'd be like, I'm getting arrested. Like, and then I was like, oh, okay. So
did he get arrested or no?
No, because he was very good at,
Yeah.
You learn how to maneuver around
right.
situations.
Did he ever cross that line to see you? Or did you ever go there?
He was arrested as many times as almost every single Palestinian I met there has spent time in jail. I mean, any college age, high school age boy, older has been in jail at some point. So, but yeah, no, I mean, this is the thing. This is the thing that's so upsetting. It's like when you're there, it's like, it's arbitrary. One day something's open. One day something's closed. One day it seems like, oh, things are getting better. The next week they're bombing people. One day they just decide to go in and arrest everybody. They keep this arbitrariness to this occupation, to this to the treatment of Palestinians on the ground, so that you can't ever get comfortable. You can't ever be like, oh, okay, I think I understand what's going on. They want us to be constantly uncomfortable and unsure and unsafe. And so I got major PTSD living there. I can't imagine the kids in Gaza and Gaza Strip and the rest of Palestine. It's like people who are enduring, who have lived entire lives seeing bombing after bombing after bombing, rebuild, you bomb, you rebuild, you bomb. So it's like, I can't even imagine the kind of mental health crisis going on. And so when I came back, I was like, look, I have the freedom to come and go. I wasn't born there. I don't have to, many people there want to get out because they're like, I don't have a future here. There's not work. There's not the ability to travel. So
and you're an American. So, I mean, you could have possibly transferred to your boyfriend's side over his territory.
Well, once you're actually, if you're an American, but you're Palestinian, they're still like, you're not really an American. So they still mess with you. It's not,
Did you have an American passport?
I do have an American passport. And I remember when they started evacuating, like all of these, when the Intifada started and it got really bad, they started evacuating internationals. So embassies were calling, New Zealand or Australia or whatever. They were calling their citizens, Brits. My friends were like, oh yeah, I got a phone call from my embassy. They're like, we're going to help you. We're going to try to evacuate you, whatever. Or
they started this whole shit technically.
Right. But when you're an American there's so many Palestinian Americans living there that they're like, the embassy's like, we're not doing anything for you.
See, I've been in Jordan, but this was in the late 90s. I have family over there as well. But whenever I said I want to go to Palestine, they're like, no, because they know the trouble, because of the troubles. Like both of my parents, they're from Palestine.
You should go.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about middle school, elementary, high school. They were like, no. But if I want to go to Jordan, yalla, and they do it, yalla, like they have a house over there, like it's fine. But because they try to, I guess, protect me with what's been going on over there for, several decades, which I can understand. But now it's kind of like with COVID is, I don't know.
Well, yeah, now
it's kind of, and it's a little bit of a hesitancy now. I'm probably a little bit more hesitant to go considering what the climate we're in now. But that's kind of one of the limitations. Yeah.
Because I'm like, I should get up and go. Like, I'm like, maybe I should go back. Maybe I should go.
No, I mean, I want to go back. I have family member over there too, but I have one guy I know of in Ramallah, she told me, it's okay. She only heard a couple rockets, I asked if she's okay. I called. But I want to go there. Be honest with you, I keep to myself. I really don't involve myself with a lot of Arab just because it's a lot of, messing in it. I'm not trying to generalize. From my experience, it's just something, what I'm talking about. It's just, especially as a Muslim, I'm sure maybe as a Christian, you probably have a little bit more lightweight than like a Muslim, than a Muslim woman. But we're going to get to that. We're going to talk about that. But one of the limitations you talked about was going over the border, and having like access. If you're an American, you have a little bit more access than somebody that's like just like a Palestinian in the West Bank that really don't have any opportunities to access. Can you discuss, like, from your knowledge of being there, because you've been there over a year and a half, right?
Yeah, I was.
Can you discuss like what other limitations there is for Palestinians that aren't American over there?
Oh, well, this is the thing about what's going on there on the ground. There's the West Bank and Gaza. There are Palestinians who are citizens of Israel, who live in Israel. So,
I got a little map if you want it.
well, yeah, you could throw up a map if you want.
I mean, this is the little common map we get. So where would where would you say the West Bank would be? Like,
right next to Jordan, right next to the Dead Sea over here. And so this is the West Bank. And then Gaza right now is just this little green strip on this last map. But you can see how Palestine has been shrinking. And then you see here these little dots in the West Bank. They were like, oh, we're going to give you your own state. But all this white space in between those dots is where they have settlements and Jewish-only roads. And basically, it's all broken up in between all of our cities and towns. So it's like, how the hell are we supposed to have a state when it's like pockmarked. This doesn't make any sense. We don't want our own state. We want one state, one democratic state. I
heard that. I heard you and Tank arguing. He says he wanted a 2-state solution. You're like, nah.
Oh God.
Tank, he all right. Sometimes he say, I think he be drinking sometimes when he tweets some shit out. Like, is this dude drunk? Like, I could have sworn I read an anti-Palestine, or not an anti-Palestine, but just kind of like a jab toward Palestinians when his tweets out like late at night. I'm like, dude, like, you sound drunk right now.
I mean, he tried to talk about, I just recently said something to him like, this is not.
I like him though.
I like that about it being a Muslim Jewish issue or some religious issue, and I was like, dude, you interviewed a Palestinian Christian. You know that it's not about Muslims and Jews. It's about an oppressed people, an indigenous population of people who are living under military occupation. So to characterize it as like a religious conflict just is false, and then confuses people and makes the issue about how much Jews and Muslims hate each other.
That was recently he said that?
Recently? Yeah, he did say that recently, and I was like a few weeks ago, and I was like, "What?"
There's so much stuff out there, I just need sometimes I need to calm. I need a mental break, just too much. Just too much.
You can't possibly see everything that's out there. No.
Right. So would you say, do you know anyone that had limited electricity, maybe like 4 times out the week, or? We could not shower. They were like, you can't take a shower more than like 10 minutes, girl. What are you, crazy? That's
why
prison,
are you thinking you can take a shower? And we had a lot of shower in the West Bank. I mean, a lot of water in the West Bank compared to Gaza. But then we'd drive by these settlements, these that are all mixed up in the West Bank that are Jewish only settlements. And they have lawns, green lawns, and swimming pools, and and we're like, we can't take that.
Like Los Angeles. It looked like LA.
It looks like LA in the middle of the desert, number one. Yeah. And number two, you're like, wait a second. You live 10 minutes away, but you all have water for showers and gardening and green fresh lawns and swimming pools, and we can't take showers. Like, what is happening? And the West Bank is like VIP compared to the Gaza Strip, where in 2014, I think it was in 2014, that their water infrastructure was bombed, and I don't think they have their water access, clean water access is just.
Did you have a water tank attached to where you were living?
Yeah, we had water tanks. Yeah, we did.
But not all of them, right? I'm sure not all of them have. Okay.
No, not everybody. But the thing is, You basically have no rights. You have no passport because you're not a citizen of anywhere. So to go in and out of Israel, you're not a citizen of Israel. You're occupied by Israel, but you have to get Israeli permission to do anything, to even cross to the next town, to, so Palestinians in the West Bank aren't allowed to go to Gaza without a permit, aren't allowed to go into Jerusalem without, permission. They're not allowed to travel in Israel. Then Palestinians in Jerusalem have different rights. Then Palestinians in Gaza are like trapped in an open air prison and can't go anywhere. So it's like they just segregate. It's like divide and conquer, separate us, give us different rights, give us different rules, have us working to just, you think if you could just get freedom to go to the next town, you're like, oh, I got somewhere. But it's like, you've controlled our lives so much, let alone the fact that you can't build your own house.
Right. And you were working over there, right? For a theater company, I believe I saw.
Yeah. I worked for a theater company out there.
How did that work?
To get our theater company to tour was like a nightmare to get permits, because they would try to tour to the US and to Europe, and then dealing with permitting for Palestinians from Jerusalem, Palestinians from here, but there's a different permitting process, different rights. This person can travel, this person can't travel.
Right.
I mean, it's apartheid, dude. It's an apartheid state. It is like Jim Crow on steroids. If you know anything about Jim Crow in America, if you know anything about what African Americans dealt with,
it's interconnected.
It's all.
Would you say it's interconnected as well?
Not only is it interconnected, but it's like, and what's happening in terms of racial segregation, in terms of like believing that this other population is inferior, mentally, genetically, morally, and that you have the right to control them and to take away their rights. It's really similar.
Right.
And then it's also similar to what happened to the Native Americans. It's like,
of course.
There was nobody here. This country was open to be colonized. It was like
someone in CNN just got fired for saying that.
Did they?
Yeah, Rick Santorum. He got money, but he got fired.
What did he say?
Well, he had he kind of like had a solo clip talking about that, exactly what you just said. And then Chris Cuomo interviewed him, tried to give him a benefit of the doubt. He didn't even double down on what he said. And then next thing you know, they fired him. So
saying that there was nobody here
it's something like, said something like that. Yeah. You got to look up that clip when you leave. He said that. Yeah. Because I can expect it from Biden. I can expect it for Donald Trump. But when I see a black person say that they're pro like Israel, or they just don't see why there's a problem over there, and it's like, I think it pisses me off even more, because I'm like, how do you not see that what your great grandma and grandpa have been through, or your ancestors have been through? How can you not see the interconnection between what's going on over there and what black people go on over here?
Well, first of all, Black Lives Matter is totally standing up for Palestine and totally making.
Well, no, I'm not saying every, but when I see that 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 black people on my Twitter page,
right? Well, then that's your job to tell them.
No, it does, but that's why I need a mental break. Like I'm arguing with this girl yesterday about, she's talking about, Dr. Lamont Hill. That's why you got fired from CNN for being anti-Semitic, and a black woman, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, and she's part of the K-Hive, Kamala Harris cult, you know what I mean? That's what I call it. And I'm just like, I think you need to read on history post-Holocaust and then come back to me about what you think now, And then I said, please go take speech classes. And she got pissed off. She got like over 10,000 followers and whatever, but she pissed me off. So I call them Twitter degrees. A lot of these people on Twitter, they have no education. Well, they may have an education, but they talk like they don't. And what they say on Twitter, they're not going to tell you that in person. They won't say that in your face, Well,
this is the thing. You got to pick your battles. You have to decide. You got to pick your battles about who. This is how I am. I talk about Palestine in my work. I talk about it in my stand-up. I try to educate people. But if you are backwards and crazy and you don't want to,
crazy.
then you just gotta let those people go. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your resources. Like, focus on the people who have some understanding, some empathy, and are like open to learning.
Yeah, but this is not just anyone. Like Hillary Clinton actually quote tweeted her, and she got a lot of hits from that. And she gets attention by like Bernie Sanders' former press secretary, and you know, other people in the media. So I'm just like, this is not just anybody. So she has a following on Twitter. So I'm just
there's
like,
a lot of dumb people with followings, man.
Exactly, you know, and she talks like she has a 5th grade education, and I know that's a stereotype in the Black community, but she really does talk like she got a 5th grade education. You know, and it just pisses me off. Like, it literally pisses me off. Like, you talk about Black rights, and you talk about, you know, like Nick McCain or the Republicans don't accept Kamala Harris, but then again, you're calling somebody anti-Semitic just because. I don't know if you know who Dr. Hill is.
Yeah, I know who Mark.
You know,
Hill is.
Yeah. So I'm just like,
yeah. Well, let's talk to people about things we can help them with today.
That's true. I want to talk about. I'm not gonna lie. When I was doing research on you, I saw the I Heart Hamas. I'm like, wait, hold on.
That was a one-woman show.
Yeah, you crazy. I mean, I'm crazy too, but I don't think I would ever like do that, like if I was a comedian or you know, or something. Well,
I did that show for a while.
This is
I did that show for 5 years. I toured it all over the US and the UK. It was awesome. It was super fun. The title was crazy. It was a show about growing up Palestinian and all of the assumptions and inside jokes and you know, racist things you experience, and all the, you know, what people assume. People assume that Palestinians are the aggressors, are terrorists, are violent, are Muslims. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take all of that and I'm going to just mess with it and play with it and see how to put people's perceptions, you know, turn them upside down. And so the show it was directed by Kamal Bell. He's now hosts a show on CNN called United Shades. Yeah,
you famous. He's a really good.
He's amazing. He's a good friend of mine. And like, so we basically wrote and toured this show, and it did really well. Like, I toured for 5+ years.
YouTube. I hate YouTube. No, go ahead. Oh, no, I already knew they was going to try to censor this video. No, go ahead. I was just checking.
Oh, no, are they?
They had $170 million lawsuit in like early 2020, and they changed all policies. And it's kind of like the good got to suffer from the bad between creators going against each other, talking about each other. And I'm just like, it's whatever. Go ahead. Yeah, keep going. Go ahead.
Is it not on?
No, we're live, but okay. I mean, in terms of like, you know, there's stupid policies. I'm just like, okay, but no, you're fine. You know, like they kind of like just tell you, you know, they call it controversial content. I call it the truth, but go ahead.
They're calling me controversial?
Yeah, like so.
Just because I'm Palestinian?
No, baby. It could be black. It could be about black stuff. It could be anything. They don't like anything negative. The same thing with Facebook. It's the same thing with TikTok.
How cute we are. We're not negative. What are they talking about?
You're crazy. No. So, like, even Facebook tried to censor a lot of Palestinians. But I'm saying, like, nowadays, back then, like when YouTube first started, you can curse. You could say, even if I curse, like,
is my cursing what's causing
this? You're good. Don't worry about it. Even if you curse, one time I had to delete like a section of the video because I was like, I hope Meghan McCain and her husband get ran over by a deer. And then I got a notification like, you got to delete this part in order for you to post. See, I'm a little crazy like you.
You're gonna say no to that.
They're trying to become like TV, but it's fine. It's cool. So go ahead. What you were saying? Go ahead.
I don't even know what I was saying.
About Hamas, about your shirt. What like?
Oh, about my show.
Like, cause like, what made you in your mind just say, okay, I'm gonna have this title, like, you know, for my comedian tour?
Freaking time that Palestinians try to say something, they're like, what about Hamas? What about Hamas? What about Hamas? And I was like, what about Hamas? You know what? I heart Hamas. That's my show. I'm gonna talk about Hamas, and I didn't talk about Hamas at all on the show. I talked about myself, but I was like, why is it constantly? First of all, Israel created Hamas.
I was about to say that. I was watching Mahdi Hassan talk about it.
Yes. Yes. First of all, they created Hamas.
Say it again. Say it one more time.
Yeah, I'm gonna send
One
everybody.
more time.
They're
Say
just
it.
gonna go to my. They're gonna go to my Twitter and they're gonna click on my.
You have resources. We're
website,
gonna get to that.
and the
Yeah.
resources there will be a video in the resources in the section called Palestine 101 that breaks down how Israel created Hamas, and it's 6 minutes and it's easy to watch, so do it. But Israel created Hamas. Hamas is constantly used to excuse any sort of terrorism that they engage in. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just take the fuel away. I'm gonna talk about Hamas so that you don't get to silence me and try to be like, what about Hamas? What about Hamas? And so honestly, the title was about, why am I gonna let you try to shut me down? I'm just gonna claim, like the people do with queer, like the word queer, or sometimes the gay community will use the word, and I don't know if I say this word and we're gonna get cut, but
no, you're good.
They try, people try to they take the slurs that are used against them and they turn it around and use it themselves. And so I felt like by just being like, yeah, what about Hamas? I heart Hamas. Let's move on. This is a show about me. That they were like, what do we do? Like, and so because of that, I got a lot of press and a lot of.
You got blacklisted. And I'm just like,
yeah,
I checked
but
them out.
Years later, I got blacklisted.
I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to. But I literally just,
I got blacklisted like 5 or 6 years after the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody gets blacklisted. Who cares? It's BS.
So why would they do that, though?
You can't be afraid. This is what they want you to do. They want to be like, oh, we're going to say, what about Hamas? So that these people get scared and don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to say, we put you on a blacklist so you get scared. But it's like, if you don't get scared, then there's no consequences.
I see why celebrities don't use their real name. Do you regret using your real name? It's Jennifer Jajeh. That's you, right?
Yep.
Do you regret it when you saw that?
Nope.
You said you got death threats. I saw in an interview.
Oh, I got a lot of death threats when I did the show. They called the theater and we're gonna bomb this theater if you have the show come. And one theater actually canceled on me because they got scared. Wow. Another theater said, okay, we're gonna have the show, but we're gonna hire security. And I actually didn't tell everybody how many death threats I was getting because I was like, if I tell them, then my director's going to get scared. Then my producers are going to get scared. Then the theaters are going to get scared. So I was like, I have to assess, is this a serious death? Like, how serious do I think this is? Is this
but it's interesting because people like Soledad O'Brien and 972 magazine, which is an Israeli Palestinian magazine. I was actually still talking to a journalist and see if he want to. It didn't seem like he wanted to come on and talk. He's just like, I don't really want to dig in the past and talk. I'm like, well, dude, like you're Palestinian, why not? But he like, it didn't seem like he wanted to. I just reached out to him after I was like, hey, because he was like, I need to determine my schedule, but I don't mind helping out. But I'm an expert, but I don't want to start in the beginning. Well, I'm like, well, my viewers don't really know anything. They don't even know what Palestine is. But anyways, it's called 972 magazine, correct? That's the name of the magazine. Didn't have a lot of these high-profile people follow this organization that blacklisted you. How do you feel about that? That's crazy.
I mean, they're following them because they're just trying to see who they're blacklisting.
Probably. I don't know.
That's why.
Did you try to email them and be like, hey, like you got this all wrong? You ain't wasting no time.
This is what they do. They just, I actually tweeted about it and got a whole bunch of people I know, like Sarah Silverman and Kamal. And
I saw people on Instagram.
To be like,
what are you typing?
Yeah.
What you typing?
I'm like, huh? Typing now?
Yeah.
No, I'm just moving. I just move my hands a lot.
Oh, you're nervous?
Nah, I just move a lot.
Oh, okay.
I don't
look like you was nervous.
It's hard for me to sit still.
Yeah, go ahead. But yeah, so Sarah Silverman and a whole bunch of other people came out for your support.
Because I was like, listen, this was like 2 or 3 years ago. And I was like, I've been performing for a decade. Like first of all, you guys are super late to the game that you're like trying to be like, oh, she performs all this stuff that, and this is the thing. They just slander people. Like she performs things about how much she hates Israel. And you're like, that's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
have you been to my show? Because I would really like to make the money. You should buy my tickets. And see what I have. See what I have.
I keep pasting the link to them so they can, I do have a following in California, but I'm not sure where. It doesn't really tell you where.
This is in LA, so if it's LA people, tell them to come out.
Yeah, I keep posting it in the comments.
Cool.
So like,
thank you.
No, you're welcome. I'm like I said, if you come to New Orleans, that's where I'm at. New Orleans.
Oh, I will.
You got they'll accept you down here. Come on now, you can find a ratchet club. Like you ever thought about coming to the South?
I mean, there was COVID, man. Nobody was going anywhere.
A new comedy club just opened like June 1st, like literally this year.
Open there now?
Dog, yes.
People are just doing whatever.
No mask, nothing on a Friday, Saturday. Like it's crazy on Bourbon Street's like a popular street in there. French. I'm sure you heard of that French Quarter. I'm just like, it's. But like, come on, like I think this would be a great city for you to come and do your thing.
We could talk about that because I'm planning on, once things start opening up, I'm planning on writing some new material and doing a tour. But let's see, does your audience have any questions? What do they want to?
Wait, hold on, we're not done yet. We're not finished with the interview.
I want to know what they want to know. Well, you're not finished.
No, so like, so in your comedy sphere, like I remember you talking about like not selling your soul and actually just being who you are and talking about what you're doing, what you want to do despite having the money, because obviously you're talented and you have the stage presence and the looks for this industry that this industry cares about. So you did touch upon in an interview that I watched saying that you had people like in your ear saying, you know what, if you talk about X, Y, and Z, like your relationships, your career would uprise even more.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, the more you talk about like it's slowly starting to shift about other issues, not about Palestine, but even like other issues. They didn't want people being super political in the entertainment industry. They're like, it's going to hurt your career. You're going to alienate someone. So the less political you are, the better. Yeah. But at this point, it's like, that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about issues. I want to talk about things that are important. I want to talk about radical things. I want to talk about interesting things. So I don't have time to, I do know, I am very sure that I have lost a lot of opportunities in my career because I talk so explicitly about Palestine. But I'm also like, I'm not willing to compromise my values, my morals, who I am, what I want to talk about just to make it in the industry. So I'm like, either I'm going to do it as a creative person on my own terms and get how far I get, because a lot of people can sell out and not be who they are, but that's not my jam. Yeah.
One person says they can't wait to hear this brave young woman's story,
Hello, Cadillac.
So they're calling you brave.
Cadillac Gaddafi. Who is that?
We in here. I don't know. It could be, So how does your parents feel now? Like, what your career and what you're doing?
I mean, so my parents were like, no, you are not doing this. You're going to become a scientist, to like, oh my God, why are you doing this? This is embarrassing, to like, oh, now look at my daughter. She's in the newspaper. And then, or she's on TV. She like my mom, when I did a few TV roles in the last few years, and she was just like, she's just really embarrassing. Like anywhere we go, she'll be like, "Oh, my daughter was on TV," and I was like, "Okay,
that's
Mom,
good."
Like our
you won an Emmy, right? The shows you're on.
I did not win an Emmy.
Your show, or you didn't win the show? But, you are a part of it, so technically.
I mean, I have a small part on the show.
You had a small part on the show. Well, hey, you were a part of something I wanted to interview.
Hey, yes. That's always good. You want to be a part of good projects. But I definitely think now my family's just like, okay, come on, get back in this limelight. Like, you've been out for a couple years. What are you doing?
Wow.
We need some more work. And I'm like, wait, now you're like on my ass, like chop, write some new material. What are you doing? I'm like, oh my God.
One person said all the things she says are very common in my Nigerian community as far as education, family ties, believing in God, and keep on seeking knowledge, etc.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because we are all tied. We all have, like, especially immigrant people of color communities are like, we all have experienced the same thing. And that's why right now it's a good time, because people are waking up to what's happening here with Black Lives Matter, with what's happening to the Asian American community, with what happened to the indigenous community, and all the stuff going down in Palestine. And people are making the connections, and all of these groups are now forming alliances to have each other's back and to stand up for each other's issues. So it's a really important time for people to educate themselves.
Yeah, and I feel like had there been no social media, I feel like the media would have continued to control the narrative. You know, do you feel the same way in terms of like the stories that come out? Yeah,
absolutely. You know, with TikTok, with Instagram Live, with people can shoot videos, throw it up on the web, throw it up on YouTube, do it on Facebook Live, whatever. And so now there's like, people are seeing what's really happening on the ground in Palestine, and they're like, holy crap, this is terrorism. Like, Palestinians have been called terrorists for decades, but what's happening to them is terrorism. What they are experiencing is terrorism from Israel, from the occupying forces. And so I think there's finally other communities are like, oh, that happened in my homeland, or that's what's happening in Chicago. That's what's happening in, with Black Lives Matter. That's what's happening to the indigenous folks when they're finding, schools where they like killed all these kids that they forced into schools because they were, taking all these kids from their families, because it's the story of a, colonizer telling indigenous people of color, you don't have value. You're not as good as us. You're not as morally worthy as us. You are not as smart as us, And so it's like, this is the story of people of color against colonial ideology.
They don't even teach this in school. And the fact that Governor DeSantis in Florida is banning critical race theory in school, I'm like,
it's crazy.
Like, dude, like, I remember when I was in school, like, it was like World War I, World War II, they talk about the Holocaust, and then they just skirt over the Ottoman Empire. I'm just like, you're wasting your time with this whole critical race theory BS, because now there's a thing called the internet where it's like,
right.
How are you going to ban that? You can't ban the internet. You can't ban Google. That's a waste of time.
They don't want people to be, our government is not in the best interest of our government to have educated people on the ground as citizens. If all Americans knew what we were doing in other countries, how many times we've invaded, how many times we've had coups in other countries, or paid dictators, or murdered dictators, or murdered children, they'd be like, what the hell? We are the worst terrorists of them all. Like, what is our government doing? And so it is not in their interest to have people educated about what's happening here and anywhere else.
So talk about the show that's coming up on June 16th, right, in Burbank, California?
Yeah,
is that right?
It's supposedly LA is opening up on Tuesday, and we're doing a show on Wednesday. But right now, stuff is still closed here. It is not. We're not very.
Caitlyn Jenner being in the ring instead of Governor Newsom, or no?
Yeah, no. What? What crazy talk are you talking?
I got you there. I got you. I was asking. I don't know. Never been to California,
You never been to California? You gotta come visit. But
man, I don't go nowhere, dog. Like, I'm a hermit. I tell you, if I tell you my story, you'll feel bad for me. But yeah, so.
Is this why you have so many followers? You just hang out with the YouTube?
No, actually, I wanted to I either wanted to be a journalist, and then I did that in school, and then I decided not to take that route. And I was like, you know what? Because I'm a singer as well. I like mainstream. I like pop culture, entertainment. But it's just been hard here in the radio game. I really never got much of a chance. So I've been working menial jobs.
And doing
in a way, and then just growing it. So thank God,
How long have you
that's why you posting videos and stuff. For this channel, almost 5 years. Yeah.
Wow.
But off and on, but outside I have been consistent for almost a year, since this pandemic. So
nice.
And it's like highs and flows, it's not like it's like an algorithm. So it's like, if you get viral for this video, then and you post something else with a different story, you may not get the same type of viewership because the algorithm reads what you post. So, So like I said, I'm also thankful for the social media. So I'm assuming this comedy thing is not I Heart Hamas, huh? It's not called that.
No,
huh?
no, that was its own show. That was its own show. That was like a 90-minute show of just me playing characters, doing a whole one-woman show.
Yeah.
This is just stand-up. This is just straight up stand-up. It's at a club. It's with 5 or 6 comedians, and it's just like a lot of political comedians doing stand-up.
Okay.
Hopefully,
I saw Jimmy Dore, and he's pretty out there.
Jimmy Dore is going to be on the show. Ron Pacone, a whole bunch of people are going to be on the show. So it's going to be fun. Hopefully, it's going to be.
It's cheap.
Yeah,
it's $10.
$10 for now until we sell out, guys.
Right, and I heard you guys had to move to another location because you guys sold out. Is that the case?
Yeah. We were in a smaller location, but they moved us. So I don't know. But I'm also like, are we really gonna do a show? Because I mean, we are, buy a ticket, come. But I'm like, is California really gonna open next week?
Yeah.
Like,
Be positive. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It sucks that they're not open. That's crazy. Still.
No, a lot of bars, a lot of things are just.
That's crazy.
No,
I need to come to New Orleans. New Orleans. I mean, I'm not sure about the comedy clubs because I've always wanted to.
Are they doing indoor stuff is cool right now, or?
As far as I know, like the bars and everything. Yeah, like
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like we're like I think we're past phase 3 or something. I don't know. Like I think it's still limited capacity, but I mean it's not as strict as you guys,
No, we're not even like very few. There's like half the restaurants aren't even open for indoor.
Someone said everything's open in New York,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
No, because I have a friend who just came from New York, and she's like, "Why the hell is everything closed here?" I'm like,
So, are you nervous? Do you know what you're gonna say? Did you prepare for this sketch thing you're doing?
Well, I haven't done stand-up in 2 years.
Yeah.
I did a few Zoom shows, but like I haven't been on a stage in front of people for like 2 years. So I am a little bit like, what's going to happen? But I'm excited. I'm like, I'm excited. It's going to be fun. I'm going to talk a lot of shit. I'm going to talk about Palestine. I'm going to talk about dating. I'm going to talk about pandemic. It'll be fun.
So how did you make your money during the pandemic? I'm asking personal questions. I'm personal. I'm sorry. I like to know how artists make their money.
That is like too personal.
Well, so like
all artists have day jobs.
Unemployment or
artists have day jobs, boo boo. Most artists I know have other hustles until you're really making it.
So you were like waiting tables or something?
We didn't have no restaurants. What are you talking about?
Oh.
No, I was doing other jobs. I don't want to talk about that. That's boring.
Okay, no, it's not. I like to know how artists that are independent make their money. I don't know, but
Yeah, I was jealous about all my artist friends who were on unemployment. I was like, damn it, why are y'all?
Because you did talk about, I remember in an interview, you did talk about a lot of people didn't give a damn about COVID. They're like, I'm still going to continue to do the shows no matter what.
Yeah. It was crazy.
So that's why I was just curious. You don't got to tell me like what you were making. I was just curious, like, how did you like survive this pandemic? Did you have like something saved, stashed or whatever? Or
I worked, man. I was working during pandemic. But a lot of comedians were touring in other states because California was shut down. So I knew a lot of people who were like, forget it, I'm just going to tour through Texas because Texas has been open forever. And then half those fools ended up with COVID. So I was like, yeah, that's what you get, dumbass, for touring. Touring during the pandemic.
So what part of California are you in? Los
Angeles.
Oh, that's expensive. You got a house over there? Is it a house, an apartment, roommates?
Apartment. I can't.
It's expensive because a studio over there could be like a 2-bedroom down here, like the rent. Yes.
LA is a very different world than New Orleans. I got a dog and a cat. They don't pay rent. I always tell them like.
So you said it's a house, a 2-bedroom, a 1-bedroom house?
No, I just live in an apartment, and I'm like, y'all need to go get a job and help mama pay the rent. They don't seem to think. I'm like, yo, wake up from your nap. Go do something. They don't listen.
So pretty much everything. I mean, it's not 100% June 16th is
No, it is
gonna.
100%.
It's
I mean,
100%.
it's 100% that we have a show and we're selling tickets and they're taking people's money. But I'm like, with pandemic, what keeps happening is they're like, oh, we're opening restaurants tomorrow. And then they're like, no, it's a week from now. So things just keep getting pushed. But we're having a show next Wednesday.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to ask you, like, how did you make the connections? How did you get your start as a comedian? Because it's a tough.
I mean, you just have to hustle. You just have to hustle. You just have to. I started off putting stuff on YouTube and going to all these open mics. You got to go to open mics. I was writing a one-woman show. I would go perform pieces of that at different things. I would perform for free. I would do things at colleges. Like, you just have to start. And, it's a lifelong, like, you don't, unless you make it big, which very few people do, like, to make it big as an artist, as a creative, as a comedian, as whatever, it's like, that's the minority of people.
Right.
Most people are working artists, which means they probably have another side job. They might be bartend or manage apartment buildings or wait tables or do all kinds of other stuff, computer stuff on the side, and then do your art. I mean, that's how most artists in the US are.
So were you doing this full time before pandemic?
I had a really bad car accident like a year before pandemic. Yeah, I had a really bad car accident. So I was doing it full time, but then I took a year off before pandemic, 2019. Yeah. I had to take 2019 off because I was in this accident. And so I was like, 2020, I'm going to hit it hard. I'm back. I'm going to do comedy. I'm going to do shows. I'm going to tour. I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, there's a pandemic.
Yeah.
So I was like, I ain't doing shit. So that was like 2019, I was off and I thought 2020 was my comeback. And now I'm like, man, 2021 might be my comeback.
Someone says what's happening over there is what happened in Libya. U.S. thugged Gaddafi, trampled his nation. Now it's in ruin. The Zooms are doing the same to the Palestinian nation, as someone said.
Yeah, they like to control. They like to control their money and their oil.
Yeah, this dude crazy. So I consider myself a black atheist. I'm spiritual, but that's another story. How do we help the cause? So.
How do you help? There's ways. Go to my Twitter. Go to my
crazy.
Twitter. On my Twitter, there is a link in my bio. It has a website that I just threw up with some friends of mine. We are developing that website and fleshing it out, but the basics are there. It has all these different sections. One section called Palestine 101, which is basic resources for people who don't know that much and are trying to just learn what even is happening. It's very basic. It's easy. There's Instagram, infographics, there's short films, there's long films, there's information there. Then there's a section called Shop Palestine, which is all Palestine-based companies that sell food, olive oil, beautiful clothing, textiles, gifts, like, we're trying to get people to support the Palestinian economy by buying things from Palestine. So read up on it.
I'm about to paste it in the chat.
If you already know stuff about it, then tell your friend, hey, check out this section called Palestine 101. If you don't understand, here's a lot of very basic information. I think.
Yeah, I pasted it in the chat.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the ways you can help are educating your friends, sending them links, talking about it on social media, supporting Palestinians and economy by buying gifts. Go buy Christmas presents. Buy people some palm olive oil. It's the best olive oil you'll ever have. You can buy, beautiful jewelry and ceramics and different things. Support the Palestinian economy. That's another way to help. We have a section called Action Items, which I need to update, but you could check it out. It's like sign a petition every week. Sign one petition. It takes 2 seconds. You put your email, you put your name, done. Boom. You did your activism for the week. Make a phone call to your representatives. Like, there's a lot of really small actions. And if everybody does one small action a week, post about it and let your friends know that you were supporting Palestine, or hey, check out this article. It's a really important piece of information. The more people are educated, the more people are speaking out and are saying, oh, well, my friend's speaking out. It encourages other people to speak out. And that's how you're going to help people on the ground.
That's true shit. A lot of those black people are skin folk, not kinfolk. Crazy.
A lot of Palestinians too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can get on that, but I mean, I don't want you to be on here for 2 hours. Black people aren't familiar with the politics of Israel and Palestine. You're not taught about the politics of other countries.
No.
If black people were taught the real politics of Palestine and Israel in this country, their opinions would change. But most black people are just dealing with racism here in America.
Right.
And then I often hear,
I do want to say something to that. I think what's happening right now with the folks in Black Lives Matter and the folks in the Palestine movement who are working together is really awesome, because it's like we're seeing the parallels in our struggles, and we're seeing that if we have their back as a community, they can have our back as a community, and we're more powerful together supporting each other.
Right.
So I think that's something that a lot of people are seeing right now, and it's really exciting. And we need to be supporting all other causes that are just like our cause, so that we're not all fighting separately these crazy systems that want to oppress us. It's like, let's all join together and fight all of the systems versus all of us being segmented.
I don't know if you want to answer that. Would you be interested in writing a situational Palestinian comedy show? Well, that's what you sort of done that in the past, right? I've seen clips.
I am writing a TV pilot about.
I want to hear you talk about that.
Yeah, it's in the works. It's just my writing partner and I are writing it right now. But it's
you've been saying that since 2018. I saw that video.
Oh no, I didn't start writing this until pandemic. What are you talking about?
Really? Well, no, you're right. Never mind. I take that back, because you done an interview early June, right?
Why are you trying
to my bad.
Me?
Samhini. Yeah, you did it with. Yeah, I watched so many clips of you last night.
On your show.
No, I ain't trying to clown you.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
No, trust me. Yeah.
No,
there's some people on the clown, but yeah, but go ahead.
It's a ensemble cast of all people of color. There's African American, Native American, Arab, Palestinian, all kinds of people on the show. So yes, it's a show that we are really excited about, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, someone said they're proud of you.
Oh, who is this? Queen J.
Yeah, well, I mean, I want to know your opinion about DJ Khaled, and what do you think?
Oh no, this man.
I'd say the same thing.
He's about the money. He doesn't want
I know. He's from New Orleans. I know. I met some of his people, and I told one of his people, I'm like, he really don't talk about, and when he does, it's very like generic, very general, very kind of like, I want to save my bag type of commentary, No,
he's just like one of those.
Yeah, he wants to keep his money.
He wants to keep his money flowing, and he doesn't want to disrupt the flow of his cash.
Yeah.
That's what I got to say about DJ Khaled.
You're going to keep it cordial, huh?
He don't want to disrupt his cash flow.
I mean, I'm not trying to defend him, but I guess I can see probably where he's coming from, because maybe people maybe a lot of people in Palestine or whatever Middle Eastern countries, they probably just call him maybe like a word in Arabic, it's called kafir. Like, he's an outsider of the culture. So maybe in the back of his mind, he's like, well, why should I defend, an Arab nation when they may look at me differently because I drink, because I talk about girls, because I talk about violence in my music or something. Like,
Nah, dude does not want to disrupt his.
Maybe it's a little tie of that, but I also think the big issue is he wants to save his, it's brands, deals, merchandising, music. He doesn't want to start outrage,
there is a reason Mark Lamont Hill got fired, and he got fired.
Yeah, allegedly because of what he said. Yeah.
No.
They didn't say the reason.
For telling the truth. He got fired for telling the truth, the inconvenient truth.
And then again, it wasn't on his show. It was like at a college. What? No, it was at a UN.
No, it
UN
was at
speech.
the UN. Yeah.
UN speech. My
came
bad.
to the
He
UN.
got fired from Fox News too. A lot of people don't know that as well. You know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
What,
you know, he used to be on Fox.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was on Fox. A liberal analyst though on Fox. You know. So. Yeah, you know, it's something with him and Bill O'Reilly. He said something, and I don't know. I was like, why he got fired over that? What?
Yeah,
so he's used to getting fired. Now he's on a black. Now he's on a black. No, I'm for real. He's used to being fired. Now he's on a black news network. So he's getting jobs. You know.
He's good.
You know.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's doing
fine.
all right.
His videos I see on Twitter, they're going viral about critical race theory and he's cool
fine.
People.
Nobody's worried about him. Mark Lamont Hill's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
DJ Khaled, on the other hand.
Yeah, dog. Like I just discovered like Rashida Tlaib and probably like a year and a half ago, maybe. Like I really didn't know much about her, which is I think is odd. Yeah,
that's weird. Why don't you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know about her until the Trump era because you know they just kept talking about her and stuff. You know.
All right. Boo boo.
Yeah, I know you about to go.
I gotta bounce.
Y'all, she leaving me. She gotta go.
Ask me the big questions. What's the big? What do you really want to know?
Okay, so in conclusion.
Oh snap! Sounds so serious. You're like in conclusion.
If you want, like, if for anybody in here like that's watching, what would you want them to take away? You know, about the misconceptions about Palestine, Palestinians, Arabs. Whatever.
Palestinian women are cute. No.
Yeah, that's why they got a hijab. Some of them got a hijab on. You know.
That's why they gotta hide. They gotta hide all that beauty. No. Just that that there are a lot of parallels between what's happening to a lot of communities of color and what's happening in Palestine, and that what you're getting on the media is false. And there are resources and there are ways to educate yourself and support. Yeah. Go follow me on Twitter.
I'm about to paste that link again.
I will school you. Follow Palestinians. Support Palestinians.
I just recently followed a lot of Palestinian people.
Good for you.
I didn't even know they had Palestinian comedians, to be honest with you. What? I did not know. Well, I probably knew one of them that I recently just followed. Huh?
What are you hiding in a basement in New Orleans? What are you doing over there?
No, bro. I just, I'm learning. Like, I just discovered Tahani Abushi. She's running for DA in New York City, and she just partnered with Bernie Sanders in New York. Her brother plays for the Chargers, O'Day Abushi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us. We're infiltrating.
Yeah.
We're infiltrating to have some power.
I mean, there's DJ Khaled, and then there is, what's his name? Muhammad, that's his last name. I forgot his first name. He's on MSNBC.
Oh, yeah.
He's half Palestinian, half Egyptian, so.
Yeah.
There's a little representation there. They talk about Palestine all the time.
There's some representation. But what I want people to take away is that it is not a complicated issue. It's pretty basic. If you go to Palestine 101, you can see on my site, you can see ways to educate yourself or your friends, and that you can support Palestinian artists and creative people and support people on the ground there, follow people on social media, and there's all small ways to be involved. You don't have to put your whole life on hold. People think like, oh, I'm not an activist. I don't need to do anything. It's like, well, Helen,
I'm pasting you the resource.
Expo News. Helen, we're sending you a resource. Go to the 101 section. Follow me at Jen Jajeh on Twitter, and you will see a lot of articles and information. You will see a link in my bio that these resources. Exactly. The same reason. Yes, Candy knows what's up.
So do I.
They try to shut us down by calling us terrorists, by calling us, they're all religious fanatics. We're this, we're that. No, you guys are.
Did you ever get any crazy outrages during your shows? Like this terrorist, this, whatever?
I mean, I had this group come to my show and all stand up and walk out of my show at the same time.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
And I was like, oh. I guess those people. Who's
I've always wanted to try comedy.
Yeah, But no, I don't let people clown me during my own show. I actually had an opening in my one-woman show. I had like the first line was like, "This is my show and I'm talking about myself, and if you don't like it, you might have to get up and leave." Because I'm not playing. Like, I'm talking about what I want to talk about. I'm on the stage. That's why you're buying a ticket to see me. When you do your show, you can talk, but don't talk during my show because I'm not having that. Like,
I tell them that about my YouTube channel. I don't care. Like, you know, get your own YouTube channel if you want me to, you know, say something, you know, for your favor. So
yeah. So I want people to know that there's really small ways you can get involved. There are resources out there. That's why we put this random ass Google site together a few weeks ago, because we were like, people keep saying they don't know where to look. We're just going to put a whole bunch of resources and we're going to make it easy for them so that they know where to look and they know how to educate themselves.
I'm late to the video, but I have a question. Do you think there's a possibility things may get better or worse now that Netanyahu may be out of power here soon? No.
It's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse because the people who are replacing him are much farther right than he is. If you can believe it, he's already a damn terrorist. But the people who are, the guy who they're thinking is going to take over for him is very famous for saying how many Arabs he has killed when he was in the army. He likes to brag about that.
What do you think about Jen Psaki?
I don't even know.
Biden's press secretary.
Oh, what about her?
I mean, what do you think about her? Do you like her?
I have no feelings about her.
I mean, words on the street, she used to work for AnyVision, this like technology organization that spied on Palestinians going in and out the border.
No doubt.
Didn't Fad to actually have an article on her, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I would not be surprised. Look, America isn't pro-Palestine.
Oh no, I know that. So, that's what my people was telling me when I was on the phone. But I was like, well, we got people talking, you know, finally after so many damn years, you know, it's getting more hype and, you know.
Yeah.
We don't need hype. We need action. So.
Well, that's why I'm telling people the actions can be very simple. And they can be like, post an article, talk to your friend, send them our website, sign a petition, buy your mama's Christmas present from a Palestine online store. Like, there are very simple ways to support the movement. And it doesn't have to be big, and it doesn't have to take over your whole life, and it doesn't have to be crazy. Like, I don't want to go to, you know, some people are like, I don't want to go to a protest and stand out there and maybe get arrested and scream at people and have my picture. You know, you don't need to do that. There's a lot of small ways you can be involved. You can buy a book written by a Palestinian. You can, you know, there's a lot of, don't buy DJ Khaled stuff.
I don't even have a book. Or go to Nora Arakat. She's a good one. Nora Arakat.
You can buy a book. You can buy books. You can, you know, there's so many ways to educate yourself and support. And Nora Arakat is the best. She's my homegirl. I know her from the Bay Area.
Oh, you know her?
Yeah.
I grew up watching her brother on YouTube, you know.
Oh, that fool.
I know. I feel bad for him, but I used to watch his little Middle Eastern stuff. I don't watch him now. I'm not talking about years back. No.
People love his stuff. You know, everybody has their thing.
Yeah, you crazy. She threw a little shade on him. You crazy. I was gonna buy her book, and I'm planning on buying Mark Lamont Hill's new book as well.
Oh, I heard it's really good. Really good.
So anything about your comedy? Anything else about your comedy or anything before I let you go?
You know what? Also follow me online, because I will be touring once the world opens up, and I will probably come to a town near one of you all who are listening.
New Orleans.
I will. I want to tour. So once everything opens up and we start touring, if you follow me online, you will get the info of when I will be near you.
Yeah. I'm about to put your is at Jen Jajeh, right?
Yes, that's me. That's all me on Instagram, on everything.
All right, what's the what's the at GEN?
JENJAJ. It's on my Is it right up there with my name? Does it say that?
Yeah, that's it, y'all. On Twitter.
You're on on Twitter, on everything. That's where you'll find me. Throwing shade. That's pretty I do like to throw some shade. I do. That's what my shows are. There's a lot of shade throwing in my show. I actually had a great comedic piece about DJ Khaled.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. You'll have to wait till I come and tour. You can hear it on stage.
No, I know a lot about him. I actually was going to do a video that I've been holding on about it for a long time, you know, but so is he from New Orleans? So, you know, you hear stuff. You know?
Oh, so you hear it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if I know what you know, but I mean, I've heard some things. I just don't like people that put on a pretend in front of the camera, be behind the scenes, you know, some like, you know, stuff that people publicly would not want to know, you know, stuff like that. You know,
you are an entertainment reporter. You're like, ooh,
I mean, I'm slacking on some stuff. Sometimes I'm slacking, but I don't like people that lie, basically, you know. So, or like that pretend, like kind of like an Ellen DeGeneres. She's from New Orleans too. I knew about that bitch for a long time. Yeah. I knew about that bitch for a long time. I can't stand her. You know what I mean? She is
the worst.
Yeah, she's so mean. She used to do comedy clubs here in New Orleans. She's like, she has a reputation of being mean, allegedly. Let me say, what's out there, whatever.
Who was this? I know somebody who was a waitress, and she waited on Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah, I heard about that story.
DeGeneres tried to get her fired because she had chipped.
You knew the waitress? Yes. You know the waitress?
Yeah, and she tried to get her fired.
I pay you money if you know her contact. I send you some money. Come on now.
Wow.
You know her personally?
You're going for it. You're just going for it.
Fucking right. You know her personally?
Okay, that's a whole other show. My dog is like, what? She needs
I got information on her too from somebody. A lot of people know her.
You want to say hi, Mama?
A lot of people know her.
She's like, this interview is going to my dinner
let that waitress contact me. It's probably not going to get hits because the situation already ended. You know what I mean?
Over. So, that's old. That's old news.
Yeah, but like, because she had chipped nails. Are you fucking serious? That's stupid. You know? Yeah.
She's like,
I was a waiter. I mean, that's
chipped nails. I can't have someone with chipped nails be serving me.
I still want her on the show. Tell her to
you are real.
Like much. You don't like tell her to look me
up.
All
right, we can talk about this. We can talk about this offline, man.
But look, what else you don't got anything else to promote? Your website is about to come up.
I'm about to put that all up in the next few weeks. Follow me on Twitter and you'll see everything. We're just coming, like we are just coming back. Like people are not doing anything here. So like, I don't have things to promote because we're not doing anything yet.
Right.
Like this is the first show. This is the clubs are opening Tuesday. We're doing a show Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like we are just going back to it.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know. You can have me back on when I tour, and I can.
I know you might send me a tweet. I'm busy, like she did earlier, y'all.
Oh,
she was like, I'm on what you said. I'm bombarded or something, you know.
I got a lot of things to do, boo.
No, you straight. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, I understand. It's a struggle. You know, I'm not where I want to be with this YouTube stuff, and sometimes, like, I was talking to the woman that was at the Township Hall in Philadelphia, in Philly, that went viral. When she told Trump, stop, let me finish my question, sir. I don't know if you know about that. Her name is Dr. Alicia Black. And I was like, man, like, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm kind of sad to say this, but I feel like being Palestinian would push me back, you know, to go mainstream or, you know, to get like television production deal or nothing. No, I mean, I am going to keep doing what I'm doing. You know, I don't, you know, but it's sad that 2021, I feel this way. That's crazy, you know.
Yeah, but you can't let that control you.
No, of course not.
Control what you're going to do or how you're going to be. So
yeah, I mean, it's not my main scope of what I talk about, but it's something that I feel like people should know about, you know. Because the other day, this girl was like, "Oh, you talking about the thing that was trending on Twitter for about a week?" And I'm like, "Nah, bro, this thing been going on for a long, like 73 years, like, you know."
Yeah.
Seriously, she was like, "What?
Not you mean Twitter last week?"
Yeah,
exactly. You're like, what?
You see, they don't know shit. That's what I'm saying.
73 years.
Yeah.
73 years. I mean, look, people are starting to wake up. They're starting to be interested. So we have to take that opportunity to educate people who want to know and who think it's going on for a week. And let them know what's up. So this is your way, your moment to do that. You have you have a big audience.
It's all right. It's not big. I appreciate y'all, but it's it's not where
Oh no, don't talk about like your audience like that.
I do. Sometimes I do, because some of them get on my nerve. I call them a peasant one time because I said something bad. They're like, we're gonna unsubscribe. I'm like, y'all can't cancel me, peasants. That's what I told them. Yeah, I don't care. Like,
Okay, well, tell them to follow me, and they don't have to put up with your.
Man, they don't even follow me on Twitter. They don't like. You got an Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm. Same.
What's your Instagram? Same thing.
It's same handle.
Yeah.
Same handle.
Yeah. So
I know.
Well, anyways, tell Noor Urquette I said salam alaikum rahmatullah, but I could tell I said hello.
Okay.
Tell her I love that Bill O'Reilly interview she did like 10 years ago. Bill O'Reilly tried to make her look like an ass, like on national television, like 10 something years ago about Hamas and everything. And I'm like, she handled her own. This was a long time ago. I saw it on. I've been following her for a long time.
Smart. She is one
smart woman. Yeah.
Smart. She's such a good interview. She's such a good interview. She's on it.
Well, I would love to talk to her, but I mean, I don't, I've never tried to contact her. I just know her from her brother, watching him for,
Well, reach out, man.
5-6 years. Yeah. So.
All right. So tell your people to go check out go to my Twitter, check out, or my Instagram, and check out this site, and it will help them understand.
The resources, right?
Yeah, resources. Also,
that's on your Twitter page. There's
a section called Shop Palestine where it's like a whole bunch of stores Palestinian stores online you can support. There's all kinds of stuff. They're gonna go there. They're gonna find everything.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
If you do come to my show and you were from this podcast or this live, come say hi to me after the show. So I know who your people are.
Yeah. And then if you want to come on again, let me know, just hit me up or whatever.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it.
When I'm ready to tour, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
We can long live Palestine.
Oh Lord, I'm gonna let you go with all these damn comments.
Okay, let's do the comments I like.
Yeah,
more violence. Absolutely. See, you underestimate your audience because
I don't. No, a lot of them are and a lot of them are grown.
What's going on?
No, a lot of them they're grown, but some of them they don't. They're like they don't know, which is why I'm trying to find. That's why I asked you for an expert or something, and
No, these people know what they're talking about. They even know Ellen is shady. Look at that. Look at that. These people know.
A lot of people didn't know though for 18 years, dog.
Oh my God, there were so many rumors in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, there ain't no rumors. That had people with actual experiences.
Yeah, I mean the same thing with me too. Like everybody knew these guys were shady and what they were up to, but
like Alyssa Milano was shady, and I loved watching her growing up on her shows. But she's shady.
Got a crush on her. Mm-hmm.
She's married to a man that's that's a CAA agent, and Harvey Weinstein allegedly used to fuck them all, back in the day. So creative artists industry.
Everybody knew what was going on. People knew.
Yeah, but here she is. She made the Me Too go viral. She denounced Tara Reid's story. I believe Tara Reid 100% about Joe Biden. It's not about whether I lean left or right or who I voted for. I just believe her. I believe her.
Yeah.
But she denounced her. So.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
If it's inconvenient to the narrative, they want to kick it out.
Exactly.
Yes. All right, Boo Boo. Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Say something in Arabic. Ma salama.
Yalla Allah ma'ak.
Oh, there you go. Allah salmat. Yalla.